Welcome to another Ultimate Expression video. This is going to be part 3 in the competition series. First, I'm going to start off with the unboxing and give you a little bit of news on why I'm unboxing the product. And I'm going to get into the foods and the things that I ate and get into a little bit of the strategy that I was going to use at the competition. But let's get into this unboxing first. And we're going to see how good this is. Get it open here. Hope it didn't flash the address up there. But it's a big reveal here on my channel. It would have been a bigger reveal if this would have came in when it's supposed to come in. It's a week late. So if you were there at the competition, you saw what I wore. And I had a couple of other things planned, but I decided not to do those. We have the Batman rash guard compression top. Got the XL. I'm gonna wear this in training tonight. Get rid of this tag. And I'm gonna do a little review on this and see how it holds up over the next few weeks. But I originally ordered this. It was supposed to come in before the competition. And I had a couple other plans that I was going to do for some spats and rash guards, but those didn't exactly come through. I only really had about 3 weeks to prepare for it all. And some of my other manufacturers, they can't work that fast. Nonetheless, these people can't deliver that fast either. When I found out about the match, Tony had approached me in Messenger. We talked about it a bit, discussed certain weights and the weights that we were, and tried to meet in the middle somewhere as much as we could. And I told him I would try to be 170. I wasn't sure if I could do it or not at the time, but told him I would do my best. I'm usually in the 75 to 78 range, and it depends on what day. Some days I'm heavier, some days I'm lighter, just kind of fluctuates. I wasn't exactly on the diet at the time, but I knew it'd be a challenge because I'd been dealing with inflammation a few weeks before, and I wasn't sure how my body would respond. First couple of days that I went in and started my dieting, trying to get my weight under control, actually my metabolism under control, I actually went up in weight, and I went up to 178 from the 75 and kind of stayed there. A couple of days made me nervous. I really had to evaluate some things that I was doing in the diet because I was eating predominantly chicken. And just in short, the chicken that I was eating was frozen chicken, and I was getting my close to 180 grams of protein in each day. But the chicken that I was eating was high in sodium, so it would come down to high sodium levels. So what I done, went back to one of my old school diets where I do predominantly beef for my protein. The only vegetables I done was the peas and the carrots. I added chia seeds to battle the inflammation in the diet. Added back in my nightly routine, which means proteins and fats before bed to burn extra calories. And I'll just go ahead and say one of the things I done, the magnesium, before I went to bed, I put a scoop of magnesium into my protein shake. That's an extra 25 grams of protein with the protein shake. The magnesium helps my body get into the parasympathetic mode, which relaxes me, helps me get a good night's sleep. Sleep is very important for weight loss because I was trying to lose fat and not just dehydrate myself. But I knew dehydration was going to be part of the process because when I start losing, I don't carry a lot of body fat on my frame. So I knew that was going to be a challenge. To get into what I ate each day, I started off the day pretty much with the water, if you want to call that water loading. Start every day with 20 ounces of room temperature water. I had classes at the beginning of the days, so I really refrained from eating a lot. If I ate before my classes, I would get a protein shake in. Nothing that set heavy on the stomach, or maybe just a granola bar to get a little bit of carbs in me. So come afternoon, because I would sit through about 3 hours of college classes, and if I taught classes, it was 2 classes during the day. So after class, I would get my first meal in, and that meal consisted of pretty much 5 ounces of meat. What I'm looking for is the beef. I'm looking to get 35 grams of protein in at that meal. Get my micronutrients from my peas and my carrots in there, and a little bit more micronutrients from the salsa that I put on it. Salsa is not a bad thing, not high in calories, not high in sodium, very minimal. So it reduces the sodium there. After that, I'd immediately go into either doing a protein shake, and sometimes a protein bar. It just depend on what day and the activity that I was doing. If I had free time and I had an activity that I would do the protein bar. So I would sit down, maybe play a couple of rounds a fortnight. If I streamed, I may stream. But I would get my protein directly in then. And sometimes I would do a protein shake after that, right before class. Some days I cut that out, the protein shake or the smaller meal right before class, because I was dealing with beef. Beef takes longer to digest. If I ate the beef before class, it was another just 4 ounces, and the peas and the carrots. I'm not really looking for a lot of muscle protein synthesis there, just that filler meal to get my protein in for the day, because I'm coming off of the protein bar and the protein shake, which should keep me in muscle protein synthesis. But my workouts, after that, I'll taught class, usually a couple of hours for teaching class. I would do my workout, do my cardio after class, and do some rounds after class, sometimes situational, sometimes just drilling certain techniques, sometimes just rolling for extended amounts of time, trying to get into that, the flow zone, and, just get your body used to reacting and being in attack mode. Very different from a training regimen and a class regimen. So after that, the big meal of my day consists of going back to the beef and getting 6 ounces of the beef in, mixed with the peas and the carrots again. Add the chia seeds in, the salsa. I got me some chili pepper sauce to go in there to add a little bit more flavor on top of it. It's very flavorful. I didn't do any cheese. I took out the dairy products because I didn't want dairy products holding me back. I usually cut those out when I'm trying to minimize fat on the body. I don't think my body really responds too well from the dairy or the types of dairy that I'm eating. It just depends on my goal. Before bed, just like I said, I would have the protein shake again and the magnesium in the protein shake, and I would get my almond butter and honey and put those on 15 grain bread. Very different from wheat bread. Do the whole grain bread. It's a much different story, but those were my fats and my proteins before I went to bed, because your body will burn off those calories, burn a few while you sleep, wake up. I usually woke up lighter most of the days. After I realized the chicken was bad for me, the weight started to come down, and I come off 78 rather easy and went to 75 over a matter of just like a couple of days. Also, make sure my water consumption was good, that I was getting a gallon of water in each day. That helped. My whole idea here is to maximize my output, the energy that I spend during the day, and to bring my protein levels down so I produce that gap to where I would burn fat. I don't suggest you do this if you're just looking to burn fat every day, because you can feel a difference in your body. Towards the end of this cut, I went in a week before, I was going into workouts, and sometimes I could feel a difference in my energy levels, because I only done like 2 days that I done a refeed. Right before I went into, a couple of weeks out of competition, I had some carbs one day, and it was probably 4 or 5 more days before I had carbs again. And I know you saw in a recent video, I went down to Forster to train. The day, I believe it was the day after that, I had another that was my second refeed day, and the last refeed that I had to get some carbs back in my system and to see how my body responds to the carbs, because I don't want to change things up too much, because the weight was coming off of me, and if I change it up too much, I don't want to skyrocket back up to 78 and have to really do a hard cut and to take the water off the body. You also saw some of the sauna sessions that I had in there. That helped get the fluids through my body and get my body used to sweating the old water out and letting the body feel comfortable with releasing the water. And plus, build good blood flow and testosterone while stressing the body while I sit in the sauna. If you want details on saunas, look it up on the internet. I'm sure you can find anything you want. But that is the way I started, how I ended the last week. I started my water loading process so I had the ability to bring the extra pounds off. That Monday, I started with, the Monday before the competition, I started with 2 gallons of water. And remember, I've been getting a gallon consistently in each day. That Monday, 2 gallons of water. Tuesday, another 2 gallons of water. The Wednesday was a gallon of water. The Thursday was another gallon of water. I may have reached a gallon, I'm not sure that day. But I know the Friday was the day I was going to do my weigh-in, so I had that timed. The Thursday night, after I got out of class, I went from roughly 74, 73, somewhere the previous week. I had a tournament, a Taekwondo tournament that I went to, and I was 73, 74, somewhere around there. And during that week, I had made it down to 171. That Thursday night, I was 171. I came out of my workouts Thursday night at 173 pounds. And this is like the way my body does. I come out of the workout heavier. And after I come out of that workout, I went to the sauna, do a little testing to see how the body would react to it. And I came out of the sauna at 167 pounds. And I was really happy with that because that gave me plenty of leeway going into Friday and having so many hours before weigh-in. And keep in mind, I had a protein shake before I went to sleep that night. That's the last thing I had before weigh-ins. When I woke up that morning, I got maybe 10 ounces of water, but that's the last water I'll drink before the weigh-ins, because that morning when I woke up, I was at 169 pounds. And so I waited the whole day. I didn't want to take the risk of the weight going back up with any kind of meals. I had the confidence that I could do it, but I didn't want to be 10 o'clock, struggling, trying to take another 3 pounds off if my weight went back up. I had a window from 5 p.m. to 10 p.m. to get my weigh-in video done. So I hit that weigh-in and I had weighed in at 168 pounds. I kind of wish I'd have went a little bit lower. I think I could have made 65. But like I said, after that day, I was really grouchy because of the weight coming off. I could feel the dehydration. My next process was to get hydrated back up. And that was something else that was a little tough doing because I hadn't went that route before and dropped that much weight, I guess, at one time. Plus, I think what affected me most was the low carb situation because the macros that I was getting, it was very, very low carb. Some people would call it keto. I don't call it keto. I just knew that I needed to have protein in my body, and that was my priority, and micronutrients. Which next time if I do a weight cut, hopefully I have a longer window. Like some of the other competitions I have, I already know well ahead where my weight needs to be if I'm playing the weight game. So let's get into maybe I'll save that for another video and talk about the hydration process. Okay, so let's get into the strategies of the match. And this is one where I usually don't touch on just a whole lot, because if you explain some strategies, not everybody exactly understands your thought processes and your decision making that goes into your strategies, especially like when you know strategies and you look back at the match and you compare the two together. They don't always appear to have the outcomes, and they don't always appear to be the efforts of the strategy when you watch them, unless you're actually in the match. I got a dog barking in the background. I don't think he agrees with my strategy. But going into the match, there are two different things that I was expecting. Number one, I was expecting the guard pull. And this is something that we talked about after the match. I was expecting the guard pull. And off of the guard pull is where I wanted to affect my strategies. My number one strategy was strictly leg drag. occupy the leg drag, and I had strategies and pathways set up off of the leg drag based on limited reactions that he was going to have from my positions. That didn't go down. What happened is he started to wrestle, and he wasn't going to wrestle. He was actually going to pull guard, and I didn't expect to wrestle. But once we got engaged and the wrestling, the hand fight started, I knew that my secondary strategy had to go into effect. And basically that was the Imanari roll, setting up the Imanari. I've done that before to people that weren't expecting it, and it's not, to me, it's not that hard of a strategy to engage, but he had some really great responses because he absolutely thought that I was shooting for the single leg, removed his leg, and he actually sprawled on me. Sprawl was a little late because of the trajectory of my Imanari roll, which basically he came down into a guard, and I had to play like a kind of a half butterfly or a knee shield type of guard off on my weak side. And it kind of played into his guard passing, but he wasn't expecting to fall down into the guard and to be as effective as I was from that position. Some of the other things that took place, maybe I'll get into that a little bit later after you watch. And I don't know if you've seen the match or not. It's out there if you want to go watch it on the websites. Some of you out there that watch this and will have questions, and there's some that will already know, and there's some that, you know, they want to come find out. You want to come find out, come train with me or have me in for a seminar, and we can discuss those different types of techniques from those positions, because they're very effective. But there you have it, and hopefully you join me for the next part of these series of videos. I enjoy them. I enjoy making them. Be sure to subscribe, like the channel. If you got any comments, comment below. Give me a comment down there. Let me know what you think of the channel. Let me know how long you've been subscribing, and I'll get with you guys in the next one.